All right, welcome back, everybody. Finally breaking out of this choppy sideways range to the downside, finding temporary support. If the bulls want to argue the uptrend is still intact, you're going to want to find support right here and get that bounce and reattack the 7,400 level. Otherwise, if you start closing 4-hour candles beneath 7,700, 7,600, you're looking at 6,000 and then possibly 5,000. We'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart, break it down, look at the altcoins at the end. This is Crypto Rolly, the crypto watch that never stops. Live technical analysis, price predictions, and trading. Remember, these are my own ideas and opinions on the market, so please do your own research, trade at your own risk. I am not your financial advisor. Hit that like, comment, subscribe, tick the bell for notifications. All right, let's take a look at what we got going on today in the market. Bitcoin down 5% in the last 24 hours. This real volume is super low, guys. We'll have to see how it plays out later in the day. This is actually kind of surprising. I'll even do a refresh on screen because this is showing 600 million and we've been above 1 billion all week. All right, well, there it is. What can I say? Everything's pretty much down. Tether slightly up because everyone moved out of their crypto into Tether. And actually Tezos, well, no, not Tezos, Chainlink is pretty much around break even in the last 24 hours. So we'll take a look at Chainlink at the end as well. Otherwise, you're looking at 5 to 8% in the top 10. Bitcoin SV just had its halving yesterday, down 12% actually. Crypto Fear and Greed Index back down to a 15. We were up at that 22. We've been down at this level for quite some time, ever since the major sell-off. And once we pumped up here, I was saying now that we've risen, maybe we could get the dump now. If we find support, we could bounce and then rally higher, and we could see, this Crypto Fear and Greed Index rise some more. If we dump from here, what are we looking at? Like a 5 coming up? I don't know. It's hard to go much further down, but the risk is still there, guys. The risk is still there. We'll look at the chart about that. 32 days away from the halving, so we're a month away, and I've been repeating myself. The previous 2 halvings, there was a sell-off 4 to 5 weeks before the halving, and now we're getting that dump this week. Could that lead into further downside next week and leading up to the halving? That's what we're watching for, okay? Also, let's see, I have a little news article real quick that is bullish. Doesn't mean it's bullish immediately, but on the macro scale, if you're in this for the long haul, I think this is something good to see. Bitcoin whales at the highest growth rate since 2016 as accumulation sets in, okay? And basically you can see from this chart by Glassnode, you had this accumulation phase through 2016. And then you had the capitulation here, basically when the price was, this was where people were taking profits. You had, even up here, this was an amazing rally. You had no idea that it would go all the way to 20K. So, there was some profit taking there. Came all the way down to the bottom. We've been accumulating all the way since, according to this graph here. So they're basically saying Bitcoin whales at the highest growth rate since 2016, comparable to the 2016 run when the level was reached in accumulation before that halving. Okay, so similar situation possibly. You can see before that halving, it had that run up there. Are we doing the same thing now? We could be. All right, so good little piece of news article there for you. And guys, while it lasts, the April promotion free Discord group down below in the description. There's the invite link for you. I closed out some nice profits on a short late last night and this morning. So definitely, check that out. I have charts there, Bitcoin link, several others. We have a nice chat group community. So please check it out. Info and link down below. And we'll go to the charts. All right, let's take a look at it. So basically, just real simple. Using horizontals, like I discussed yesterday, the diagonals can give you false breakouts. So, we're going to put more attention on some horizontals. And just right here, you can see that we had resistance, we had this trading range here. So it was safe to say that possibly this could be an area of interest for you guys. And, you're still maintaining this higher low trajectory. Yeah, you still have a higher low. Now, if you break below here, and this is around 6,500, you're losing that higher low trajectory. Low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So you start breaking down, you're losing that uptrend, okay? As of now, if we bounce here and then get back above 7,400, you're putting in higher highs still, okay? But guys, this could be the beginning of the downtrend. So what we're looking for, if you want the up to, say this uptrend is going to continue, you're going to need to close back above this region here. I need at least a 4-hour close above 7,400. Otherwise, you're at risk of, making a rally and getting rejected, anywhere between like 7,000 to 7,400. You could get a lower high or a double top situation. And the reason I'm looking at that, well, we can break it down. All right, we'll break it down. But guys, looking at the 4-hour, like I said, we could get that little bounce, lower high, or retest of here because the 4-hour Stochh is pretty low. It hasn't curled up yet, but it's getting to that point where a bounce could be likely. The 4-hour RSI is also almost oversold, not quite yet, but almost. And if you had gone down to lower time frames, you can see that the Stochs have been low on the 1 hour. You can see that they have been oversold on the 1 hour, trying to creep up out of it, go down to the 15-minute. I know we don't like doing this, but there can be some hints, at least, in the short-term bounces. You can see that you have a lower low, but then here you have on the RSI a low, a higher low. So a bit of bullish divergence on the 15-minute, hinting possibly at a little short-term bounce. And something also I look at on the 15-minute is when we do have aggressive moves. I like to look at the 15 and the 15-minute blue 10 simple and the yellow 21 EMA, which we have broken back above. So this move might, we might consolidate in this region or get a little pump here possibly. But you can see once we did get that initial drop, we stayed beneath that blue 10 simple and the yellow 21 EMA, and then once we broke above here, it was time to possibly exit. And I have exited in nice profit, and we'll look for another opportunity. So we are going into the weekend, guys. So we all know in a few hours, the CME will close. Let's take a look at the CME and see where it's going to close at. Of course, there's still more time left, a few more hours left in this, so we'll just take a look here. We are currently right in around 72.90. That's on CME price. On Bitstamp, it is 68.73. That's a pretty large discrepancy in price there, guys. Interesting to note that. But traditional markets are like the stock markets closed for Good Friday. I don't believe the CME is closed. It says it's open here. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Let me see something while we're on camera here. Don't want to waste too much time. I'm just wondering what the deal is with that discrepancy. If I go over to the stock market, you can see it says holiday there. And usually when the CME is closed, it would say the market closed. So that's pretty interesting to see that there is such a large discrepancy, 72.90 and Bitcoin price at 68.70. I was not prepared for that, but my point, and I'm glad we checked that out, it's something to look into. So, we saw the price did drop down here to 70.90 on the CME chart. So my point here is let's see where this closes, because on the weekend, if the price moves above that closer, you usually have a gap below, and then on Sunday it fills to the downside. Or if the price closes at a certain level and over the weekend we dump, then there's going to be a gap above, and then on Sunday we fill that gap above. That's just the usual trend. I know gaps don't get filled like that in traditional markets, but it seems that the CME Bitcoin thing just it happens more times than it does not. If you've been following this channel, you know that that is true. Look at this gap here, for example. We still haven't filled this one though, guys. Okay, and this is coming up around 8,250 all the way to 9,000. We are pretty close to it. We are getting close to it. So if we do bounce from that region here on the Bitcoin chart, and it looks like CME didn't even drop at all, I'm still kind of curious about that. We could still target this area considering how close we are to that gap. When we were down here, I was like, don't worry about that gap. It's not going to happen anytime soon. A month later, we're pretty close. So definitely we'll keep our eye on that. And also, I'll follow up with you guys about this here. Hold on, going a little blurry. There I am back again. All right, enough about the CME. Let's break down the chart. Hit that like for me, guys. You can see this was the diagonal that we had drawn that I got faked out on. But then it pumped back up, and luckily I had my stop above here. And we continued downwards. It started to look like we definitely had a falling trend line right here that it was respecting. And, it looked like almost a descending triangle started to form. You did have this horizontal range, 7,400, and this horizontal around 7,185. So this was looking like the range, a little sideways range. And then once you lost that horizontal, you saw the dump, okay? So this channel has broken on my drawing. I've seen some other people draw it differently. Do you start doing this? It's kind of annoying, right? So we'll stick to some other indicators and horizontals on that note. Okay, guys, so let me go to the moving averages on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, we did close beneath pretty much all of these moving averages. You have the pink 200 simple coming down pretty aggressively here. It's down at 64.92. Looking to close back above this 100 EMA. It's at 68.45. Current price is at 68.73. But guys, we are back beneath the 200 EMA, this light green 200 EMA. We were talking about how getting above it would be crucial, and that next step in a bull rally. So was this just a bit of a fake out and then we come back down? Or can we regain, bounce from this region, regain that, and then march on upwards? We'll have to see. But, this horizontal, the 7,400 and that 377 EMA, we were never able to get the 4 hour close above it. So we never had that leg up. And this is coming in at 74.04 right now. So it's all lining up there. We can look at our Bollinger Bands. On the Bollinger Bands, we were closing candles beneath the lower band, which is very bearish. You start closing candles above it, you can see that's a real rally, starts, when you boom, 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 each candle closed above it. And then once it broke back in, it kind of went in sideways. So, again, close, close, close. And now we're looking to close back into this Bollinger Band, this bearish zone, okay? But getting back inside, could be a little chop. Or you have your middle BB resistance coming in at 7,200. And, we often talk about breakout retest. So, could we just come back up to retest the bottom side of this trading range and get rejected, forming a lower high? That's very possible for sure. Going to the Ichimoku clouds. Ichimoku clouds, you're bouncing off this yellow baseline here. So, and the cloud, yesterday we were up here, in that video, and I said that this would be a target. I'm blurry again. All right. All right, I'm back. I hope I wasn't blurry too long. Anyways, so we came down and tested this. This yellow baseline is 6,800. The cloud is, sorry, the blurriness, 6,720. So we were up here, and I said if we lost, this support, this would be your range for a potential bounce. So if you're going to be bullish, not only do you have that support box there, you also have this Ichimoku cloud on the 4-hour. If you lose that range, and that would also line up with breaking inside the cloud, and then you risk going to the bottom of the cloud. Okay. Let's keep going. The 12-hour. On the 12-hour, because we already looked at the 4-hour Stokes, right? So on the 12-hour, I was talking about 71.75 being a support, the top of this Ichimoku cloud. We lost that. We're in the cloud and landed right on the blue conversion line, 6,800. What do you know? You lose that. Bottom of the cloud becomes a potential target at 6,300. Your stochastics on the 12-hour coming down, usually a pretty good signal when the 12-hour stoke crosses down. We hit pretty much oversold on the RSI there. Not quite, but basically. And, I'm just going back a little bit here. And, this is the thing. If we are in a downtrend, not only are you going to see lower highs on the price, but you will also see lower highs on the RSI. So we could be topping out here on the RSI and then, travel back down to the bottom side of here, which, would line up with the price coming down here. Doesn't mean we have to come all the way down to, 4,000, but this is just one step at a time. But like I'm saying, you're losing. You had a support line you could have been drawing here on the RSI. You lost that. The same that we lost it on the 4-hour. I pointed this out, the other day, and I saw, and we're hitting, oversold here, so could get that bounce. But last night on Twitter, I did. Let me show you this. Let me go to maybe the BitMEX chart. It's a little cleaner, so I can show you this. And, you can look at this for the next time, because starting to play out already here. But I saw you had this trend line here. You had one here. And we have one here. And then if you look at where price dropped from this, you had this rising trend line on the RSI. You lost that. That was this dump here. You had a rising trend line. You lost that. That was this dump here. And we had a rising trend line. We lost that. And there's that dump there. So, these rising trend lines on the RSI actually work pretty well. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to lose my RSI. So, I posted that on Twitter last night as well, and in the Discord group. And, that kind of, I was already in my short. So, I was still, a little stubborn. I didn't want to, close at a loss. But I just also saw enough things lining up for me that gave me the confidence to stay in that play. And that was one of the key factors for me. Okay. So going back to finish up our breakdown on the Bitcoin, 18 minutes, need to hurry up. Hurry it up. I definitely feel a lot better, taking all those profits. I had down at 6,800. That was a 50% on 10x. So feels good, especially after this, nonsense chop here. I was just determined I had to catch the move. I was in and out, taking, little tiny losses here and there. And then I finally got the good one, okay? But, being on top of it, in the chop, in the midst of the chop, I was finally able to identify the correct move, Sometimes I need to learn how to scalp the chop, or just sit out and just watch and wait, a snake in the grass. I don't want to compare myself to a snake, but, or like an eagle, from the top of the mountain looking for that salmon down in the river. Okay, it's a bit much. All right, I digress. Where was I? Bitstamp. Bitstamp. Let me see. We're going over to what? We were on the 12 hour. We were on the 12 hour. We looked at the Ichimoku cloud. We were looking at the Stokes, the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands, this is interesting to see. The 12 hour did close beneath the middle BB. And, do we open and close the next 12 hour underneath it? So you have resistance at 69.66 on the 12 hour, okay? Your bottom side on this, if this downtrend starts to play out, this is coming up to 63.87 right here, okay? On our moving averages, close back beneath the 21 EMA, being held up by the orange 50 EMA. If you drop, you could come down to the 50 simple moving average at 6,500. And I don't like to have too many of these lines on here, but you know what? This dark blue 50 simple moving average, may have some more validity than I've been, thinking, because look at the daily. Look at the daily. This blue simple was actually where we were rejected from exactly. And we're currently, fighting with the yellow 21 EMA. It's coming in at 68.50. So price is at 68.70. Do we finish this daily above or below 68.50? If we close below it, that could definitely initiate further downside. And like I said, the halving's a month away. So could we, have that sell off before the halving? And then once the halving, happens, then maybe we have a bounce and then we can continue to rally. It might depend also on the circumstance of the economy. So, one day at a time, but that we do, if you are a bull, you want to bounce here, you want to close above the yellow 21 EMA, and, the blue 10 simples at 69.93. So, close above 7,000 would be even better. And, I wouldn't be totally surprised if we do close above it and, range maybe in this area over the weekend. But if you close beneath it, you might get a drop and then retest the yellow 21 EMA could, come down and act as resistance if it comes down that way. So it would look like something like, you have a drop and then it comes back and retest it and reject it and like that, and your yellow 21 EMA would come across something like that. You know what I mean? You could even draw it. Well, I won't worry about the draw. Let me see. Where's the color? I don't see the color. Okay, well, I won't worry about it. Anyways, you can see what I'm saying. The yellow 21 could come down and act as resistance. Okay, just looking into the future just a bit. But we haven't closed beneath it, so we just won't get too ahead of ourselves. On the Bollinger Bands, let me see here. We can see that we did bounce off the middle BB support at 66.90. It's saying the low here on Bitstamp was 67.50. So not quite, but getting there. So you do have that middle BB support on the daily around 6,700. Ichimoku clouds, we hit resistance here on the cloud. So, if we do bounce here, we could come up and get rejected right around here. The cloud is at 7,057. So, come up, get rejected, and then, maybe fight with it here and then rejected. So this is going to act as resistance. Now, if you're able to bounce and get back above this cloud, that would be bullish, and you would want to find support above it at 71.75. Your daily Stokes looking to cross down. Depending on where price closes today, will either confirm or not confirm a daily Stoke cross down. And, the RSI similar to the 12-hour, just one step behind it. It looks like a rising wedge, and it could come back down to the, this region here, okay? Um, Weekly, it's already been 25 minutes. I got to get to the alts. I've been going slow, just laughing and playing around. So the weekly Stoke still hinting at that cross up, but you can see the Ichimoku cloud still being rejected by the 71.75 level here. Going over to the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands didn't quite get to that middle BB. If we do bounce, that could be resistance level 78.20. The bottom side of this Bollinger Band is at 51.30. Our moving averages rejected by that 100 EMA at 72.90. 7,300, and if we get rejected here, you are at risk at retesting this green 200 EMA at 58.90. Okay, so we were talking about that this could, previous support flipped resistance, so we did bounce, but it would make sense to get rejected in this area and then come back down, and maybe after the halving get a bounce and retest it. Okay, so Heiken Ashi and then altcoins. Heiken Ashi is always pretty quick. Heiken Ashi, you do have a green one on the weekly. Let's keep moving down though. Okay, on the daily, it has turned red. So, are we looking at something like this? Are we looking at something like this or something like that? You never know. If we bounce here, it'll probably be something like that. If we break that 6,600, it might be something like this or worse, like that. Okay, so the 12-hour is also going to be red, I'm sure. Okay, and the 4-hour, let's take a look. 4-hour still red. Okay, no reversal sign yet on the Heiken Ashi. Going over to Link. Let's go to Link real quick. I need some water. If you guys are still here, haven't hit the like, please hit the like, get the algo pumping. So let's see, regular candles on Link. Where am I? 27 minutes. All right, so we'll do a quick alt wrap up. Okay, so Link did bounce, but what I want to show you is the power of the horizontals. So we were down here. I said $3.27 would be a target. Where did I get that from? I got that from, and I'll go to the daily real quick. I got that from looking at previous resistance flip support. So so that was here, and then where was the next level? So you can see, okay, perfect. So you had support here, support here. So that's where I had drawn this line here. So that would support flipped resistance. Back when we were down here, we tagged that target there. And then, if you were up here, where's your next target? I looked at resistance flip support, and we hit that as resistance as well. Okay, you can see how this plays out. You just go to your daily or weekly, and you can see resistance levels, and what do you know? Resistance level, and it finally broke out bullish there. Okay, so you can do this with every single coin. This is very helpful for identifying targets, and actually much easier than even a lot of the indicators, right? It's pretty simple. And if you go to the 4-hour, you can look at the 4-hour. Last night when we were breaking down on Bitcoin, it dropped a little bit, and then it was retesting here. And I can even show you that on the Discord channel. So this is why you guys need to be in the Discord channel. So right here, this was last night. We broke that horizontal. It dropped, and it was retesting. Okay, so it retested it and rejected it, and then it fell to this horizontal here. So you can see I had this horizontal already drawn right before that, and it came exactly down to it. So power of horizontals. It bounced off of it, and it bounced off, and it's came back and hit $3.27, that horizontal. And looking at the price currently right now, we can see that it's temporarily rejected from that horizontal, and possibly one step ahead of Bitcoin. already putting in a lower high. Okay, so maybe Bitcoin does something similar to this. Okay, or maybe Link regains that and then attempts this level at $3.50 again and then marches upwards. Okay, but that's what we're looking at on Link. On Tezos, we had a similar scenario. You lost your horizontal and has dumped down. Pretty nice 4-hour bounce right here. Okay, so let me go to maybe the daily chart. All these lines starting to get a little crazy. Let me get rid of maybe this one and that one. Get rid of this one too. All right, so my target was looking at possibly $2.33. Using where we had to support these wicks. You can see how we had that strong breakout there. So if you do regain this level, $2.33. Otherwise, you continue to fall down. I'm looking at $1.76 based on this previous rejection here. And I think if you go back further, there's another. So yeah, resistance, 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 broke out, and possible retest as support. Okay, I'm going over to, let's just do a couple more and we're out. XRP, just because I know a lot of you guys out there are in the XRP army. Gotta appease the fans, right? So you hit your horizontal resistance here. You had support, flipped resistance, lining up, and came back and retested support. Used to be resistance, now support. So this support level here is at 18 cents roughly, maybe more leaning towards 19 cents. If you lose this level, you're looking at the next level down at 16 cents and then 14.5 cents. If you bounce here, you're going to have resistance at 20 cents, and then I have another horizontal at 22 cents. Use your horizontals. Ethereum, and then I'm done. Ethereum hit resistance where you can see there was resistance here, $174. You drop beneath, and if you keep falling, your support level, you have one down here at 146. We're at 156. So the range I would say is going to be 146 to 174. If you're able to regain 174, 191, 192 based off of that. All right. So when it comes to these altcoins, just break out the horizontals. I'm sure I could just do that with Bitcoin too and save myself a lot of time. And you can combine, you could use horizontals and just combine it with some oscillators. You can see on Ethereum, if you go down to the 4-hour, it's going to be very similar to Bitcoin, but you can see on the 4-hour, you had the Stoke crossing down and you had reached way overbought on the 4-hour and started coming down. You even have bearish divergence where the price is, going sideways, but the RSI is coming down and your Stokes are coming down. That was, a potential top signal there, and same with, when you get the cross up, stuff like that. So you could use horizontals and stochastic and RSI and probably do pretty well because, the whole point of moving averages, Bollinger Bands, Ichimoku clouds, basically is finding your resistance and support. And we can clearly find resistance and support with horizontals. All right, that's enough. 35 minutes. Happy Friday, everybody. It is going to be the weekend, so, low volume weekends, not the best time to trade. Good time to get chopped up. If you do trade, I would say look for scalps only. If you've been, staring at the computer all week, and you're getting tired, maybe you took some losses, good weekend's a good time to step away, get your mind off of things and come back fresh. If you took, you got a big gain, nice profit, also a good time to take away some time, enjoy yourself and come back fresh. You don't want to give back the gains you just won. That's enough for me, guys. Thanks for watching. This is Crypto Rolly. I'll see you next time.